Nestled between the Lienz Dolomites and the Hohe Tauern lies Lienz, a sports city and also a sports arena. Here on the Isel River, we have the exciting center of an entire alpine region. Every year, the best kayakers compete here, thrilling thousands of spectators. As the only town on the Isel, Lienz is the economic backbone of the region. And it's right here, in the sunniest town in Austria, that this unique 57-kilometer-long river ends its journey. The riverbanks where the Isel flows into the Drau are lined with magnificent buildings. The Isel Tower, the cornerstone of the old city walls, has always stood guard here by the river, as has Bruck Castle. A reminder of past generations, it towers above Lienz. The snow that fell in the Middle Ages still flows down into the Isel today in the form of melted glacier water. The river has seen many peoples come and go, whether the Counts of Bruck Castle, the Slavs, the Romans, or the Celts. But nothing altered this landscape more than the last ice age around 10,000 years ago. Like massive bulldozers, the huge glaciers gouged out the valleys here before retreating again. Evidence of this can be found all over the mightiest mountains in Austria, in the Hohe Tauern National Park. There, at over 2,500 meters above sea level, inside the glacier tongue of the icy Umbel Valley, is where the Isel has its source. From here, on its way through all the alpine elevations, from the northwest to the south of East Tyrol, it is joined by 48 tributaries and swells into a mighty glacial river. In its free-flowing form, it is one of the last such rivers in the Alps. To understand the Isel as a whole, you have to view it in its entirety. Just like the American mountaineer Steve House and his Austrian wife, Eva. As early as their childhood, independently, the two of them got to know the mountains of East Tyrol.
My first time in Osttirol was 1988. I did probably my first ski tour of my life.
While Steve went on to climb the toughest 8,000-meter-high mountains in the world, Eva devoted herself entirely to kayaking. Now, they've returned as a couple and are going to explore the Isel section by section.
Steve and I really like to explore the world. And sometimes we travel far, but mostly we just like to explore my home country and our region. And this time we came through Italy, through the Staller to go to the Umbeltal to start mountaineering.
We arrived up at the bivouac, kind of tired, from the long walk up there, and it was a real pleasant surprise just to find this cute little hut stuck on the side of the mountain there, and we just enjoyed the evening, watched the sunset. It was a beautiful evening, cooked a simple meal, drank a little bit of wine, and just planned the route for the next day. Went to bed when it got dark.
It's just simple living. You're up there in the mountains and there are no other distractions. The stars are your TV and your diamonds, and the next morning you wake up and you go wherever you want.
Perfect way to live with the rhythm of the mountain. What I really like about the Osttiroler mountains is that you just don't meet a lot of other people especially compared to some other places in the Alps. And especially in the national park, there's no lifts or roads, you gotta walk up there, and just because of that, you meet a lot less people, and it's really, you get up there and it's really wild, and it feels like a really, it's raw nature, undisturbed nature, and I really appreciate that.
It's not only Steve and Ava who appreciate the wild primordial mountains at the source of the Isel River. Nature and landscape photographer Daniel Egger also likes climbing up here, so he can record the imposing icy landscape of the Hohe Tauern for posterity. If you abseil down into the heart of the glacier, you're suddenly overcome by a powerful sense of infinity. Here, the perpetual natural cycle of water has been interrupted. But that doesn't mean that this deep blue and bizarre world has come to a standstill in any way. Each day, the ice forms new sculptures, fantastic shapes that make visitors marvel in disbelief. Billions of water droplets have been moving through here for an eternity. And the warmer it gets, the faster the ice melts. 3/4 of the total annual amount flow between June and August, making the water level rise rapidly. The river actually owes its name to this phenomenon. The Celts called it Is, which translates as fast or rushing.
Es ist schon erstaunlich, wie weit sich der Gletscher in den letzten Jahren so zurückgezogen hat. Und so muss man jetzt jedes Mal ein Stück weiter zurückgehen, um die Spitze des Umwallkäses zu erreichen. Trotzdem nehme ich diesen Weg immer gerne auf mich, weil durch den Rückzug des Gletschers ergeben sich ständig Jahr für Jahr neue Motive, und das ist genau das, was mich als Landschaftsfotograf so sehr reizt, dass ich immer wieder hierher zurückkehre.
While Daniel Egger descends into the valley, Steve and Eva climb up to the 3,000-meter-high summit of the Arnakopf, a mountain that provides a breathtaking view across the region where the Isel River has its source.
We arrived at the col, and then sort of a ridge scramble started. And it was really nice because we could move fast, we were short roping, and then the last little bit up to the summit was even a little more ridge climbing, but it was still always you had to use your hands, but it wasn't really technical climbing. So it's a really nice summit for everyone who wants to explore something that it is a little more than hiking. And it's amazing panoramic views around there. You can see down to Italy, you see the source of the Isel, and then you see all the valley down the Untitled.
On their way back through the secluded Umbwall Valley at 2,000 meters elevation, Steve and Ava pass the Clara hut. The ideal place for a fortifying snack and for discussing the rest of their route along the Isel.
It's very small at the beginning, and even the color and the amount of water changes depending on the weather, the time of the year. And as it goes down through these very, very steep, narrow valley, like it's almost a canyon, and then comes down through these incredible waterfalls, the Outfall, and then down through the Virgental. It's sections where it's quiet, and then it goes rushing down a kind of a cataract, and then makes the big turn down towards Lienz, and it sort of mellows out and widens, takes on another character entirely. And it's really nice to see this river have so many different moods.
For Ava and Steve, the hike to the source of the Isel comes to an end here. But the river continues on its way, so we'll soon be seeing the two of them again. After the Isel has left the high alpine regions and the impressive Umbwall waterfall behind, it crosses the Virgen Valley as a rushing river. It's not only the pulsating waters of the Isel that make it a river of many faces, its color changes too. On hot summer days, the glacial sediment turns the water a yellowish-green color, while in cooler weather, the Isel is crystal clear and even turquoise in its deeper sections. In its upper reaches, the Isel flows through scenic gorges where its waters are wild. Nature is still the same here, untamed and often still intact. Nevertheless, the river can still be followed over long distances, whether on foot or at a fast gallop on horseback. For thousands of years, the Isel has slowly cut its way through the valley, creating deep gorges, some of them up to 100 meters deep. The steep, rugged slopes beside the upper narrows of the Isel make it seem unlikely, but this is actually where one of the main early settlements in East Tyrol developed. Ancient archaeological finds provide evidence that today's municipality of Virgen was once a popular settlement area for Celtic tribes. The medieval ruins and castles along the river also bear witness to a rich and variegated history. A bird's-eye view of the cultivated fields, thousands of years old, make it clear that life in harmony with nature here has hardly changed during all that time. Today, the farmers still drive their cattle into the meadows surrounding the Isel, where the grass has a reputation for being especially nutritious. For Eva and Steve, the world around the Isel is a paradise, the ideal place to take a short break. This is a great location to wind down and tank up on energy. After all, the two of them still have quite a few things left to do.
When I was a teenager, I came with the kayak club to Osttirol, because every year in the summer we had kayak camps for 2 or 3 weeks. And we did that for, I think, 7 or 8 years in a row, where every year we came here for 2 or 3 weeks, paddling our kayaks on the river Isel or the Drau.
Just before the National Park municipality of Matrei, the Isel leaves the Virgen Valley. Gently flowing, it makes its way along the valley floor, but only until it is joined by the glacial waters of the Tauernbach. These swell the river massively. It then branches off southward and heads away from the main alpine ridge. In the river's journey, this is only the halfway point. Over the past decades, there have been several plans to use the tremendous power of the Isel water for economic purposes, but no one has ever been able to agree on the issue. While some stakeholders advocated the construction of hydropower plants, others insisted that the ecological and touristic value of the Isel be recognized. Ultimately, the Tyrolean provincial government nominated the Isel as a Natura 2000 site within the European Union, with the intention of preserving the natural river landscape and taking various steps to strengthen the region economically. In some cases, the river is already in use for recreational as well as work purposes. While water sports enthusiasts paddle their way upstream through the glacier water, the numerous tributaries ensure a constant flow of fresh water downstream. One example here is the Grünalm stream from the Deferingen Valley, which winds its way idyllically through the lush green mountain meadows, a real center of life-giving energy in the Isel region.
It's nice to be in a place like Osttirol where you don't have so much man-made structure. You still have to use your feet to walk up to those mountain huts, where you use your feet when you want to go ski touring, and where people really appreciate nature as it is. And that's what I really appreciate about this place.
The Kaserbach is also a tributary of the Isel. It rises directly beneath the 3,798-meter-high Großglockner, Austria's highest mountain. From there, the river picks up an increasing amount of rocky material, something that Vittorio Messini, Steve's mountain guide colleague from East Tyrol, notices right away, because he's also a geologist.
Also the same as Matterhorn, or really the same story.
Yeah.
Huh?
The two of them plan to do some climbing today. Vittorio recently took a new route for a first ascent, and he wants to show it to Steve. On this occasion, he allows his American climbing partner to climb ahead of him.
I met Vito last winter skiing here in Osttirol, and it was nice to finally go climbing with him and to get to know him a little bit better. Not just by spending time, but also to have him show me a route that he opened, that he put up. It's nice. You learn something about a person and climbing their routes, and it was really fun. I appreciate Vito's got the real heart of a climber. Okay, you're up a little.
Kennengelernt habe ich Steve beim Skitouren gehen im Winter, und das war mir heute eine besondere Ehre, da mit ihm meine Route klettern zu dürfen an der Kalser Klamm, weil vor kurzem haben wir noch seine Bücher gelesen und heute hat er sich ins Wandbuch von meiner Tour eingetragen. War schon cool. Und so wie der Steve und ich heute unseren Spaß in der Tour gehabt haben, werden sicher die Eva und Zimmel gut gefallen, die Wellen von der Isel nach Lienz zu reiten.
When we came back from our mountaineering trip with Steve, we were sitting at the riverside and we were enjoying the nice view there. And then we saw a kayaker passing by. And watching this guy paddling down there and having fun, I really thought, oh, I would like to do that again. I haven't been kayaking for at least 10 years now. But then I thought like, oh, I should call up my friend Zimmer and go on a boat and kayak down the River Isel again. And he was totally up for it. We did it. It was great fun. In the beginning, it was a little awkward for me because I haven't been doing it in a while. But you know, it's like riding a bike. You never unlearn how to do that. And kayaking, same as climbing or skiing, mountaineering, it's some sort of freedom to me.
Mit der Eva auf der Isel zu paddeln, das erinnert mich an alte Zeiten, wo die Eva noch Rennen gefahren ist. Und da sind wir zusammen sehr, sehr viel auf der Isel unterwegs gewesen. Ich muss sagen, verlernt hat sie es nicht. Also sie fährt immer noch sensationell gut für die lange Pause. Die Isel macht es für mich so interessant zu paddeln. Sie hat einfach von Anfänger bis zum Fortgeschrittenen alles zu bieten. Also die Isel hat schwierigste Abschnitte im Bereich Matrei, im Virgental und hat dann wirklich wunderschöne, landschaftlich reizvolle Flussabschnitte in der Gegend um Einet bis Lienz. Also jedermann, der paddelt und die Natur genießen will, ist die Isel ein Paradies.
For the people here, the Isel and its catchment area are an exciting paradise, but they are also home to abundant animals and plants. The Isel ranks as one of the few alpine rivers to still possess its original biodiversity. Some of the largest breeding populations of sandpipers in Austria can be found here, for example. Many other birds use the Isel as a resting, hunting, and breeding site.
Ja, genauso gern, wie ich eigentlich in den Bergen unterwegs bin und am Oberlauf der Isel, zieht es mich auch immer wieder daher in den Unterlauf der Isel. Da hat sich der Fluss eigentlich vom Charakter her schon komplett geändert. Er ist aufgeweitet in Sandbänke, Inseln und zeigt eigentlich ein komplett anderes Gesicht im Vergleich zu der gebirgigen Region im Bereich vom Nationalpark. Aber das ist für mich nicht minder reizvoll, es ist für mich auch etwas, was man über das Jahr immer wieder leicht erreichen kann, wo man neue Inspirationen hole, wo ich neue Ideen finde für meine Landschafts- und Naturfotografie. Und das ist das, was mir so gut gefällt an den Plätzen nur entlang der Isel.
Anyone who stays here for any length of time also has to keep an eye on the water level. When speeded up, the water level changes on the Isel are especially noticeable. The melting glacier water provides the typical diurnal cycle, which reaches its peak during the evening and night hours. If you look below the surface, the wonders of nature continue. Everything is in constant motion. Everything flows. Every day, the Isel and its riverbed reinvent themselves. The underwater world of fly larvae and fish varies constantly, though the creatures' habits remain the same, something very much appreciated by sports fishermen in particular. Then again, angling today differs greatly from the way fishing took place in the old days. Today, in many cases, the fish are released after being caught, like this grayling. Most commonly found in the Isel River are brown trout and brook trout. They don't exactly get along swimmingly with each other, however. In fact, the rule is eat or be eaten, as with this sibling, which fell victim to a predatory trout. Nature is merciless, but sometimes small miracles do happen. Apart from the many fish species in the Isel, numerous plant species benefit from the transporting power of water. They grow on the alluvial gravel banks and rely on the natural water level fluctuation. Today, intact habitats like these are a real rarity among alpine rivers.
I think that preserving natural places is actually one of the great ideas of the last century. We've just started to do that and, basically in all countries now, and it's a way of preserving something the way it always was, which is really important for not only ourselves, but for the future generations that will come.
Humans appreciate the advantages of this unique Osttirol glacial river too. After all, it offers space for relaxation to all generations. The kids splashing in the shallows and building boats, or the adults who can stroll and relax here. Riding a bike is a very good way of discovering this river region. Pedaling along the 30-kilometer Isel cycle path from Matrei to Lienz is a great way of relaxing. And if you're not too keen on the ice-cold water, the idyllic sandbanks are perfect locations for sunbathing. If you're looking for really wild terrain, it can be found just before Lienz. Fairy tale alluvial forests stand as reminders of the days when they were still widespread. These woods and riverbanks, so close to the city, are worth a workout all on their own.
I've been kayaking for more than 10 years in my life, and I've been traveling all over the world and been kayaking on almost all rivers in Austria. And most of the rivers are dammed, and they are man-made, artificially constructed somehow. And the beauty of the Isel River is that you come back every year, and the river is always a little different. Like the sand benches are a little different through the melting glacier water. The rapids form a little differently, and also the eddies. So it's always a little surprise how the river is gonna be, and that's what I really enjoy about doing something that nature offers you and appreciate it the way it is.
In Lienz, the Isel ends its dynamic journey through East Tyrol, but its unique character can still be felt here. Even on the hottest days of summer, this river, with its glacier water from the Hohe Tauern, refreshes the inhabitants of this Mediterranean sunshine city.
The Isel River is sort of like the lifeblood of Osttirol, and it drains these incredible mountains. And for me as a mountaineer, that's always been the primary attraction, but I think everybody who loves mountains has something to discover here in Osttirol.
Having reached its endpoint, the Isel joins the river Drava. Later on come the Danube and finally the Black Sea. There, the journey begins anew, and at some stage starts over again, just as it does on the Isel, the ancient lifeline.
Milliarden Tropfen, ein Fluss, alles kann, nichts muss. Millionen Möglichkeiten, ein Weg, ihre Schönheit unser Privileg. 1000 Bilder als Beweis, alles dreht sich im Kreis. 100 Flüsse, keiner wie sie, keiner wie sie. Alles verändert sich, alles vergeht, nichts bleibt bestehen, nichts bleibt bestehen. Alles verändert sich, alles vergeht, nichts bleibt bestehen, nichts bleibt bestehen. Nichts bleibt bestehen, nichts bleibt bestehen.